social media. I'm Chef Chris Poole with Steamboat Salt Company. Welcome to my home kitchen. One of the most frequent questions that we field is, what the heck do I do with your salt? I like them, but I want to use them in a different way. We do have some cool recipes on our website at www.steamboatsalt.com, but I thought it would be cool to do a little video today so that you guys could see one of our favorite recipes here at the homestead, which is going to be El Jefe craft salt quick pickles. And you just need a couple of easy ingredients and a couple of pieces of easy equipment, everything being available at your local grocers or Walmart or Safeway or whatever you got. You're going to need a heavy bottom pot. I've got 2 quart mason jars here, sterilized in boiling water for about 1.5 minutes each, as well as the rings and lids. 5 cups of clean water, 3 cups of distilled white vinegar, and you can use champagne vinegar, apple cider vinegar, whatever you prefer. I like distilled white vinegar because there's no flavor in the final product. We're going to use about 2 tablespoons of store-bought pickling spice, about 2 fresh habanero peppers sliced into rings, and about 2 ounces, or one of those little flat plastic packages from the grocery store, of fresh dill. And you can use dill spice, it's fine. I prefer fresh. That's just the way that I like to do it. And then about 10 cloves of fresh garlic. And then, of course, 3/4 cup of El Jefe craft salts. El Jefe is our flagship salt. It is a garlic habanero salt. And then about 2 pounds of pickling cucumbers. And you can really use any cucumber that you want. I prefer the English cucumber. They're a crisp cucumber, and I think that they take to pickling very well. Okay, so we went over all our ingredients. Now we're gonna get started on the pickling liquid. We're gonna take our 5 cups of water, pour it in our pot. And to that, we will add our 3 cups of white distilled vinegar and our 2 tablespoons of pickling spice and about half of our garlic, because I like to stud the garlic throughout the pickle jar because pickled garlic is awesome. And of course, the main event, our 3/4 cup of El Jefe garlic habanero craft salts. So we're gonna get that all going and just kind of mix it up. And all you're looking to do here is get that salt to dissolve in the water. Okay, so we got our pickling liquid ready to rock and roll. We have stuffed our cucumbers in the jar. We've also studded it with fresh garlic, as you can see, throughout, and the habanero rings, as well as the fresh dill. And some people layer it. I just kind of like to jam it all in there, because once you put the pickling liquid into the jar, it's really not going to matter. The other option is to do the pickling spice and the garlic in cheesecloth and put it in the bottom or in your pickling liquid. It's up to you. I don't mind, because I like a little something extra with my pickles. So we got them all in there in the jar, and we're going to take our pickling liquid, give it a little stir, and then it is as easy as this. You want to keep the liquid hot. We're going to just pour it right into the jar, all the way to the tippy top. And the cool thing about the pickling liquid is it won't spoil. You can just pour it into a separate jar, toss it in your fridge. It'll be good for months until you're ready to either pickle again, or it makes a really good brine for chicken, pork chops. It's really up to you. Dealer's choice. So from here, we got our pickles in the jar. Liquid, if you can see that, is all the way to the top. You want to cover those very top pickles. The one thing that you might run into is if there's any pickles that do float, there's a chance you might crack this jar in a couple of weeks and you might see a little furry pickle on top. It's really not a big deal. Take that pickle, chuck it in the trash. The next thing is after that, you'll be fine. Okay, so we're gonna seal these up. Okay, nice and tight. My wife says I over tighten things, but I don't think you can when it comes to pickle jars. Okay, so there you go. Okay, so we're moving on to the final process for our pickling process. We are gonna seal up these jars. So we've got all our good stuff in there. We got a boiling pot of water, which I cut the heat. And we are just gonna dip this bad boy right in there. And we're gonna let it sit in that hot water for about a minute, minute and a half. It really, you can check it at any time, but the lid should depress and not pop back up. One thing that I have found with making pickles is you have to make sure that these jars are not cracked and they are not cold. They need to be warm. So after you sterilize them, you want to get the pickling process going as soon as possible, because one thing that I've found, and I found it out way too often, is that jar will crack and then all your pickles will spill out and then you waste them all. Nobody likes a wasted pickle. So, all right, looks like our lid is staying, so we can pull that back out, nice and hot. Good thing I have these tough hands. And then we can just let that cool off. And then, you know what? We'll see in about 6 to 8 weeks.